A few months ago, I experienced something interesting that completely changed how I see relationships. I was talking to someone I cared about, and everything seemed normal. But suddenly, she started acting distant. Her replies became shorter. Conversations felt forced, and it seemed like she was testing my reaction. My first instinct was the same mistake many people make. I wanted to chase the conversation. I wanted to ask what was wrong, explain myself, and to try to fix everything immediately. But instead of doing that, I decided to do something different. I stepped back. I stopped chasing the conversation, stopped trying to get her attention, and focused on my own life for a while. And something unexpected happened. After a short time, she reached out again. The energy in the conversation completely changed. She seemed more interested, more curious, and more engaged than before. That moment made me realize something important about human psychology. Sometimes, constantly giving attention can reduce its value, and occasionally stepping back can create space that makes people appreciate your presence more. Human beings naturally value things that feel limited or difficult to obtain. This is a basic psychological principle that applies to many areas of life, whether it's time, opportunities, or attention. When someone is always available, always replying instantly, and constantly seeking approval, their attention can slowly start to feel predictable. Ignoring someone occasionally, or more accurately, not overinvesting your attention, can shift this dynamic. When attention becomes less constant, people often begin to notice its value more. They become curious about what you're doing, where your focus is. Healthy space means you have your own priorities, responsibilities, and interests. You're not ignoring someone to punish them. You're simply not making them the center of your entire attention. People are naturally drawn to individuals who have balanced lives and independent priorities. When someone sees that your life is full and meaningful, your attention becomes something that feels valuable rather than guaranteed. And that subtle shift in perception can completely change how interactions feel between two people. One of the biggest reasons ignoring someone sometimes works is that it signals confidence. Confidence is not about arrogance, dominance, or trying to control others. When someone constantly seeks validation or reassurance, it can unintentionally signal insecurity. On the other hand, when someone is able to step back, focus on their own priorities, and remain calm without needing constant responses, it communicates emotional stability. Ignoring someone occasionally, especially when it means focusing on your own goals, hobbies, and personal growth, shows that your life does not revolve entirely around another person. This creates a healthy balance. Instead of appearing overly dependent on the interaction, you demonstrate that your attention is something meaningful you choose to give. Ironically, when someone sees that you are confident enough to live your life without chasing constant attention, they often become more curious and interested in being part of it. Curiosity is one of the most powerful forces in human psychology. When something feels uncertain or mysterious, our minds naturally become interested. When everything is predictable, the mind relaxes. If someone always knows when you'll reply or how much attention you'll give, curiosity disappears. But when you occasionally create space, when you're not always immediately available, something interesting happens. A small element of unpredictability can trigger curiosity. People start wondering what you're doing. But this doesn't mean ignoring people to create anxiety. That approach can quickly become unhealthy. The real idea is living a life that naturally keeps you busy. Goals, responsibilities, friendships, and personal interests. When your life is full, you simply can't be constantly available. And that natural balance often creates curiosity and attraction without any need for manipulation. Emotional independence is one of the most attractive qualities a person can develop. It means your happiness doesn't depend entirely on someone else's attention. When people rely too much on external validation, they begin to seek constant reassurance. A delayed message can suddenly create anxiety. But when you occasionally create space, you begin to develop emotional independence. It reminds you that your life has value beyond any single Interaction. When people see that you are focused on your goals, your passions, and personal growth, it signals something important: emotional maturity and emotional stability. When your life feels complete on its own, relationships become healthier, more balanced, and built on mutual respect. Another reason ignoring someone sometimes works is that it helps establish boundaries. Boundaries are essential for healthy relationships. When someone is always available, always responding instantly, their attention can slowly start to feel taken for granted. But when you show that you have work, responsibilities, and personal priorities, your time gains value. Ignoring someone occasionally is often simply protecting your time and energy. Healthy boundaries are not about pushing people away. They are about creating balance. When both people have their own lives, their own goals, and their own priorities, interactions become more intentional and far more meaningful. While ignoring someone sometimes works psychologically, it's important to recognize when it becomes unhealthy. Using silence as a way to manipulate emotions, punish someone, or create anxiety can damage trust and communication. Healthy distance should come from natural priorities, not from intentional mind games. If someone ignores another person just to create jealousy or insecurity, the relationship can quickly become toxic. Good communication remains essential. Sometimes people genuinely need reassurance, honest conversations, or emotional support. Healthy space means focusing on your life while still maintaining respect and communication. Unhealthy ignoring means intentional. Strong relationships are built on mutual respect, understanding, and balanced attention, not psychological tricks. So while stepping back can sometimes increase curiosity and respect, it should always come from a place of maturity and self-awareness. Give me image prompt and covert script. At the end of the day, the goal isn't to ignore someone to gain power over them. The real goal is to build a life that feels full, balanced, and independent. When you focus on your goals, your passions, and your personal growth, something interesting begins to happen. Your attention naturally becomes more valuable. You're no longer chasing people or trying to prove your worth. You're simply living a meaningful life and inviting others to share in that life. The strongest connections don't come from mind games. They come from confidence, independence, and mutual respect. And when you focus on becoming your best self, the right people will naturally value your time, your attention, and your presence.